Folks, I would like to ask you to just take a moment to take a look at our capital here in Yashi. This city is prosperous, it is culturally enriched, and it is incredibly powerful, because it is still deeply intertwined with our more rural communities that make up the backbone of this country. We're back here in the year 1872, and we are in Romania, in a country that is, well, mostly just a single curve. Hopefully we can change this in this video. Hopefully we can acquire, for example, Dobruja, which would be the gateway to the world, as it would actually give us support and make it so that I can trade with other people than just Austria, Russia, and the Ottoman Empire. But it's not just that. It is also the fact that everybody here, look at that, in the Austrian Empire, everybody that is Romanian, that is any sort of minority, is incredibly angry. I hope that maybe we can use this to our advantage as well, but that is something for the future. Right now, we are basically in between a rock and a hard place. Yes, we've formed Romania, but no, we can't go against the Ottomans yet. Russia won't support us unless we were to become a protectorate of theirs, and that's not really something we want to do. And on our own, we're just not looking at enough troops. We have to do something about our country before we can actually open up the world to our Romania. Now, there's no two ways about this. Our Romania is without a doubt a deeply conservative country. The landowners, the Orthodox Church, and even the rural folk are incredibly powerful and make it so that reforms are a bit more difficult. But nonetheless, I would actually like to reform our society where we can and where it is something that is acceptable to Florea, the king, the prince of Romania. What we're going to do is we're going to form a new government here, and yeah, these are all incredibly low legitimacy. We have a pretty high legitimacy level right here with the contested government, but all in all, yeah, what we're going to do is this, because 27 and 30, there's literally no difference between these two, and this allows me to keep the church in, who otherwise would become quite angry if I kicked them out. So, we're going to form a new government with the rural folks so that we can reach a compromise between the landowners and then the farmers. And look at that. All of a sudden, we have a whole lot of laws here that we can actually change. I think this is a bit too risky, not really that beneficial. You know what I would like to see here? I would love to go off land-based taxation. Per capita would be great, and I would definitely like to go off traditionalism. Traditionalism is liked by the landowners because this doesn't go into the investment pool, which means it goes into their pockets. This, on the other hand, makes them invest more, makes the farmers invest more, and means that we, the state, get more into our pockets. Now, again, they do dislike this, but I think we should be fine. All of these folks like it, so you know what, let's put this into action. Let's try to get agrarianism so that we can reform this society at least a little bit. Now, enough about domestic politics, though. Let's talk about foreign politics, because we need to keep an eye on the Ottoman Empire. If they ever do get into a war, if they ever, for example, fight with Austria, as unlikely as it seems, as Austria views them as, being in need of their protection, I want to keep track of the Ottomans, and I want to keep track of Austria. Look at this. If they do not accept this movement's demands, if they don't placate it, we may very well have an opening to, free a couple of our territories over here. We have to see how the revolution forms, and then weigh whether this will be worth it. But I gotta tell you, I am quite eager to see whether we can't grab some more land, although again, Dobruja, of course, is the most important part that we could possibly get. Oh, and they placated it. That is pretty wild. So we're not going to see a rebellion unless the conservative forces were to rise up, and they are very angry. They might actually do it, but as it stands, yeah, Austria seems to be moving with the times. They seem to understand that they have to become, more open, more liberalized if they want to survive as a multicultural empire. Unlucky for us, but lucky for them, I guess. The skirmish infantry thing is a bit more difficult, because for skirmish infantry, you actually need to produce these munition plants right here, so the ammunition, which means we need explosives, which in turn means we need sulfur. And sulfur is very difficult to come by. Let me just take a look at a market right here. We're going to identify where these sulfur sources are. Without a port, this is going to be extra hard. Yeah, you can see, Jesus, literally no potential for sulfur in any of our homelands. This whole area sucks. That is really rough. We have a big production here in England, in France, in Germany, in Italy as well. I mean, in Austria, technically. Then over here in the New World, but absolutely nothing in our location. And that is a big deal, because it means that unless we get Russia to, get more sulfur out of Transbaikal, we can't really import it anywhere. I can't believe it. We got so lucky. We had a 25% chance, and we actually passed agrarianism. This is huge, because all of a sudden, yeah, this investment pool contribution efficiency, the farmers' investment pool, my god, this should unlock a whole lot for our own purposes. Look at this investment pool. Obviously, they can't build all that fast, because we're looking at a situation where we just don't have enough space. But now they're contributing a whole lot more, and should definitely make a lot more things viable. Look at look at this massive increase right here. I am so happy. What else can we do here? So we reformed out of this now. Could we could go towards isolationism? I don't think that is smart in any way whatsoever. I would love per capita taxation. How much more would I be making? 16k, 28k. Proportional taxation. It is a bit advanced, isn't it? We could also try to go towards land ownership ceiling, but yeah, I don't think we're quite there yet. Do the landowners approve of this? No, they don't care for this, meaning this won't make them happier. So I'm not going to bother with this. National militia would be cool, I'm going to be honest with you. That is a great law. Professional army, to be fair, also quite good. But I think we much more care about taxation right now. If I can switch over the taxation to be maybe more proportional taxation, maybe more per capita taxation. Yeah, you know what, let's just go with proportional taxation right here. They will be neutral, but they will be neutral. This is a big, big plus. You know what, let's try it. If we can pull this off, man, we would be in a much better position. No way. That is actually insane. It passed first try. I know that there's gonna be so many people mad in the comments because their stuff never passes. Listen, hey, just get lucky, okay? Unlucky for you, very lucky for me. This is actually huge because all of a sudden we're really taxing dividends, we're taxing income tax rate, which means being a farmer, being on the land is absolutely great because we're no longer taxing them all that harshly. This also means that I can get rid of a whole of this, which is big because it means that our future laws can pass much, much faster. I'm gonna still keep some taxes on these things. This is completely fine. I'm gonna maybe keep a tax level here actually and then upgrade our construction sector just once each, maybe something like that anyway. And then, you know what, can we look into yet another reform? Wouldn't that be massive if we, for example, could move towards yeah, I mean, either of these, right? Would it make you... The landowners would be very angry. This is a huge reform period after forming Germany, no, Romania. I think we might just try to go for professional army, but then again, honestly, national militia is almost better. Because that just means that we are a fairly rural population. We can probably get things going here. You know what? Let's go with national militia. This is also just cheaper and easier to maintain for a country like ours, so I'm not really... I think it's a good idea. Maybe. I hope so anyway. Ooh, and this is a big one. I mentioned it earlier. The labor movement is actually a requirement if you want to get to small holdings, if you're not the US, so Transvaal or Oranje and so on. Now, we can't really do this right now, and I don't really want to do this right now. Yes, we have to reform the state in the name of the king, but the landowners are our friends, or at least they act like they are. I don't think we're going to pass this. This is just something to keep in mind long term. Ooh, and here it is. Okay, wow, our country has changed in a massive, absolutely radical way in just the last, like, 3 years at the start of this very episode. Look at this. Our battalions are now quite numerous, if we can get them to be mobilized in time for a war, right? But this is a massive, massive improvement. Again, it does mean that we are cutting down significantly on our barracks because we can only afford 5 per area. But this is basically a local rural defense force. This is how I envision our conscription centers. Oh, and here we are. We have the reverse happening. The Austrian aristocratic revolt is going up against Austria. And this is, I mean... I'm not quite there yet when it comes to my preparation, I have to be honest with you, because you're looking at a situation where, sure, this isn't the revolution that I was originally expecting, but this is a big one. And while we can't really declare war against them, because this game doesn't allow this, it sucks, but it is what it is, we can potentially look towards the Ottomans now. If the Austrians are busy, that means they're very unlikely to protect them. I mean, Russia does hate the Ottomans. Just show me, right? Just to take a look at this. If Russia isn't willing to aid us here, I haven't really fully restructured all of this. Let's say we could get skirmish going. I haven't built the actual tools to get skirmish going. You know, as silly as that sounds, but we don't have ammunition plants yet. So I'm going to build one right now. Hope that this sort of rebellion keeps going. Oh, right, we actually need 1 chemical plant and 1 ammunition plant, don't we? Because without the chemical plant, we won't even have the explosives. Let's try to quickly gear up so that we may fight the Ottomans and see whether it will work. But I'm gonna be honest with you, this might be a bit of a time crunch. Alright folks, things are now escalating. I need my territory and I need the Ottoman Empire to falter. And they're currently being attacked in a diplo play that I cannot join because we don't have an interest in this region. They are looking for a treaty port in eastern Thrace. Now I can't join this diplo play, but I can simultaneously potentially start my own. I am so afraid that somebody else will join in on this. The Austrians, how are you doing? You're neutral? How do you feel towards the Ottomans? Fairly neutral. Okay, fairly neutral. I think we're gonna do it. I beg you. Ooh, everybody's neutral. Okay. Maybe we can do this. We need to immediately conscript and hope that nothing here goes wrong. Let's see what we can do. Brave as well, also pretty good. And he is for the Orthodox Church. Lucian Ionita. Ooh, and the Hohenzollern, that is the funniest thing. But no, you know what? I don't think we're gonna pick you. I think we're gonna pick Juanita here. Jonita. Lucian, I'll hire you. I'll promote you. And I'll put you in charge of literally everybody, okay? 1877 here really is the year of escalation. Germany is grabbing Oldenburg. Austria has just finished their civil war. And the Ottomans are fighting Russia and Romania separately. But they are fighting them. I hope that this means nobody will jump in. Germany and Russia seem out. Not sure about the British, but they are also mobilized. Wait a minute, what war are you in? You didn't side with anybody here. Are you down there? Oh, yes, you are. China is fighting off the Lanfang Rebellion. Okay, who cares? But this will keep Britain occupied. At least I think so. So the last fear factor that still exists for me is definitely Austria. Let's hope that they can keep still. I think we might actually have this. This is incredible. This is actually insane. The Russians aren't winning, but we have now a skirmish infantry, fully equipped army. No shortages. Of course, we still have this, but this is only on our proper barracks, not on the conscription centers, and we have no shortages. We might have to step up our artillery game. Honestly, I might just go and import a little from the Austrian market. Sure, it doesn't hurt, right? Let's start pushing. Oh god, okay, this is a rough battle, but I think we'll be able to defend here. And if we hold, the longer we can wait, the longer we can hold, the better we will ultimately be off. The Russians here still being pushed back, but this is all about attrition and primarily about bringing down the Ottomans at our border, because we just need to march into Dobruja. That is all we need to do here. And, oh, you know what I also need to do is I need to raise some more taxes, I think, because otherwise we will be in a bit of a bind. And this is it. Oh my god, it actually all paid off. The way we restructured everything, it actually paid off. We are going to take the first province of Dobruja. The Russians are still losing. Absolutely beautiful. The big question is, can we hold it afterwards? But hey, that is for future me, right? Right now, we just need to take this and then hold still. And look at how much land we just took. I will defend Dobruja with my life. I just changed his command. He's now in the defending position because we literally just need to hold out. This will be the gateway to our future if we get it done. And I think we will. Oh, and they know what is at stake. They know that they might lose everything here if we just hold. But we will hold. Our skirmish troops, they are good enough. What are you suggesting here? Absolutely not. No white peace. Come on, man. Stop being a coward, okay? Romania will not falter. You know, the only thing that I now regret is not actually demanding war reparations. That would have been amazing. They keep offering this nonsense. Come on, get out of here. Stop this peace deal. I'm pretty sure... Yep, return Dobruja. The war's over. We have a port. Ladies and gentlemen, Romania is back in business. Oh my god. So let's take a look at our newest land right here. There's a whole lot of turmoil going on. It is a slave state. What does the population look like? Man, that is a lot of Turks. We got a lot of Bulgarians and a lot of Romanians. Yep, this definitely screams Balkans right here. This is part of the Balkans, right? Of the Balkan Peninsula. Well, either way, we're looking at a situation where we have to do a whole lot of work. We need to introduce our state. We need to introduce our religion. We obviously do this by building at least a couple of actual gov administrations right here. And, yeah, this is definitely going to cost us pretty heavily as well, but be that as it may, we now have taken over this territory, and this is just absolutely amazing. Let me take a look at the actual buildings. We got a trade center here, which might disappear, I'm not sure. I guess this is now a trade deal via the sea with Russia. We got a logging camp. I'm not sure how much we care for this. I could transition this away. A fishing wharf is great because then we can finally use this stuff right here, the fish, in our grocery factories. I really want this tobacco plantation, you know that? I might actually, I think I'm just going to get rid of this stuff. Put a couple of tobacco plantations down there. Yeah, let's just build all this, and then here we go. We have a port. Can you believe this? We have a port. Oh man, that is a big one. That is a big one for sure. Now, we're still losing money, but this is just, we need to rebuild. Listen, this is still a war investment. We have paid a lot, but now it will all be worth it. And you know what I'm going to do? I think we're actually going to transition to smallholding. The benefit again is that farmers now will have a much higher contribution efficiency. Our bureaucracy population cost multiplier will go down, and we do have this negative for quite some time. But the rule folk also changed their ideology from isolationist to frontier expansion, because when we do get new land, it will be handed to them. That is why all of a sudden they will be in favor of it. I love that change. It is really good. It will go against the landowners, but I mean, what are you gonna do, right? What are you gonna do? Oh god, and we immediately get a Bulgarian secession. I guess that makes sense. I mean, we're taking land that we want, but there are many other people living there. Ah, well. Time to put them down. I think this might inspire us to, long-term, look into a liberalization of our national laws, you know, our actual cultural laws here, but I'm going to be honest with you as well. The way Romania has been formed here is under a deep mindset of essentially being under siege, right? We're looking at the situation, we're saying all of these people are taking our homelands and this is unacceptable. I really don't see the mood right now to give even an inch to the Bulgarians, no matter how rebellious they might be. I don't think we're going to change our cultural laws anytime soon. And this is, of course, an easy victory for General Lucien Ionita. If he does go into politics at some point, I think he would be absolutely beloved. Alright, folks, and now we are standing in front of the biggest project that Romania has ever faced. We now have a port. We now have access to the world. But we are not really looking towards it yet, are we? First of all, we will have to integrate the Bruja, which will cost us surely something. Oh, because we had a claim it's already integrated. That is even better. Because now they will, of course, be, you know, enjoying our institutions such as healthcare as well as education. And that is incredibly important. But what is even more important, other than us getting our actual budgetary balance under control again, is that we build a navy. And I don't mean a big navy, I just mean maybe 15 ships so that we can generate some interests and then declare some interests. But obviously, this also requires some internal changes. Let me explain. Right now, we have a fairly strong landowner faction that still very much exists. Our rule folk have been pushed down, which is of course disastrous because, well, I've been taxing them. They should go up again as I've now reduced their taxes, but this was just the war effort, okay? I hope you understand. The most important part about the rule folk is that they are isolationist, which means that they do not want colonial affairs and they do not want open borders. We can change this. We can change this if we make the jump to small holding. Is it very likely? Well, probably not, but currently, if we were to pass it, the landowners wouldn't attempt to rebel, and that is huge. If we pass small holding, this means that their ideology changes from isolationist to frontier expansion, which means that migration controls still would be okay for them, not better than closed borders, but be that as it may. The other side of things would be colonial resettlement. Now, you might ask, why would they like this? The answer is because with small holding, all of the plantations, all of the subsistence farms, and all of the farms have farmers in charge. And this is a massive change that then also comes with this land redistribution decaying penalty right here, but I'm willing to take that if it means that, indeed, I can build a better future for Romania that faces the world. So, with all that being said, let's put the rule folk into government and let's attempt to pass small holding. And things are not looking good. Very obviously. The landowners are going to be against this. I will still give this more tries. I will keep this ticking. It is so incredibly important that we actually pull this off. You can see the landowners, the rule folk, are already picking up again now that the taxes are much lower. Our navy is slowly but surely recruiting people. It's difficult because there aren't that many people. And secondly, yeah, navy recruitment is just very slow. The Romanians, the Bulgarians, and the Turks will all serve together in this navy, as you can see. And oh lord, now the Turks are also seceding. Yeah, Dobruja is very clearly a host of trouble. If we didn't have closed borders, they could actually migrate away, and that would be a huge boon for us, because right now, this is largely just, well, a trouble spot. If the Ottomans wanted, if Austria wanted, they could all intervene here and really trouble us. At the very least, Russia is willing to aid us if push came to shove. Ah, and terrible news. All of a sudden, the landowners, they left the government because they are so angry about this small holding change in law. It makes perfect sense. This is basically a law that would have decapitated them, so I mean, there you are. It just means that, you know what, we might have to take a look at other reforms. Let's just check out what the intelligentsia has to offer. We'll radicalize them? No, this definitely will cause a civil war. We can't actually do that. Okay, well, what about a different police force to weaken the landowners? You know what? It's time for dedicated police force. Get the landowners out of here. I have failed to fully liberate the peasants, to move away from the old tenant farming and so on, but we have passed dedicated police force now, and that puts us into a really strong position. I don't think I want to change all too much else here, if anything at all, really. Maybe actually this would be a great change as well. Yeah, you know what? Let's just declaw the landowners as we go. We need to become not necessarily a more socially liberal state, but rather a state where the farmers, where the rural folk is in control. Now this right here is a different and a very interesting situation. If you recall, we had an Austrian rebellion previously already. They were rebelling, they failed. They are still very much a state that does not recognize its minorities, which is fairly similar to us. But they do hold land that should belong to us. Now, if we were to claim this land in time, if we were to claim it quickly enough, we might be able... You know what? I think we're just gonna go in. I will attempt to return my states, Southern Transylvania and Austrian Moldavia. This is a rapid movement, but that is just the instability, I guess, that you get on the Balkans. Let's just recruit, let's say, 41 battalions right here, and I need a second general, actually, just so that we have 2 armies to begin with. Ooh, Lucien de Hohenzollern is still here. Huh. I like this guy. Radu. You know what? You're in. The other guy is out. You will push here, and they will push there. I would be surprised if we could take this in time, just because Austria, you know, the revolution might take it before us, but we will have to see. This is gonna be interesting. Maybe I can just frighten Austria into giving up. If I invite the others, maybe we can make it work. And of course, the others want obligations. I'm not too keen. I'm not too keen on that. I think obligations are a huge mistake. That would be a massive mistake. Yeah, obligations, they would just add us to their market. I think it's a bad idea, but they already got occupied. God, that sucks. That is rough. Yeah, that's really rough. And this is the first time in Romanian history that the landowners are no longer powerful. Now, if we can, I would still really love to push this through. Now that the resistance of the landowners is much smaller, let me just check. Can we get a coherent government with the rural folk? If I were to lower taxes, I suppose we could make it work then. Huh. Can I strengthen the rural folk in any other way? I don't think I directly can. Can I lower taxes? I mean, we are at war. It's not really that big of a war, but I don't think we're going to win this, by the way, just because we're looking at a situation where I can't push them below 0. If we... Oh yeah, that's a troublesome situation now. Old Austria capitulated, and now, yep, this is the new situation. Yeah, this is a rough spot, okay. And yep, there it is. This hurts. This is rough. This is not good. If we can get a stalemate out of this, I would take it, but honestly, I don't think so. I don't think we can do it. This is going to be incredibly rough. I will have to mark, actually, our capital here as the defensive objective. We need to make sure that they do not hold it, but I'll be honest with you, I don't see it. I think we're going to eat it. And yep, there you go. We're gonna eat it. I'm gonna be paying them our tax income, 10% of it. God, that sucks. Can I exchange this? No? Alright, fair enough. Listen, sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. It is what it is. We'll get out of this with a blue eye, or the black eye, I guess, and hopefully be able to recover in due time. Alright, so we had no luck there, and we have no luck reforming out of this. This is fine. Sometimes you will have these moments. Listen, here is what we can do. It's 1887. No doubt about it that Romania has heard about colonies. Now, we do not colonize ourselves, but I would like to secure the Congo, and I would like to secure the Congo with our newly created fleet under... No, not this guy. I actually need to create a fleet, I guess. But with our newly created fleet underneath nobody else but... Who could we take here? Adrian Iliescu? Sure. Adrian Iliescu is the leader of our expedition into the Congo. Let's make this work. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make them a dominion. We will not immediately conquer them because this gives us a bit more infamy, but it's also just like, this is like us sailing by and saying, hey, you are our loose dominion now. And they will have no shot but saying yes. I will immediately take Radu and Adrian and let's get this done. The Congo will be Romanian, as it should have been historically. And look at that, even Austria is actually colonizing. Quite interesting. Let's see whether we can make this work. I don't think anybody else will jump in here, at least I hope so. It is just a tiny concession. If Portugal can have colonies, then I should have colonies, right? That sounds about right. And there we are. We are winning against the Congo. This is basically the equivalent to us showing up with a couple of gunboats saying we will take control of this port immediately, and the Congo not really having a choice but agreeing. Look at that. The very first campaign here at least is going well, even though of course our war against Austria ended in a sound defeat. Now do take note that we can't colonize anything yet and that we don't really have any other interest except this. This is our only interest because we have a navy now, but as soon as the Congo becomes a dominion, we will have a proper interest there and I can change our declared interest. This is how you do this. Bit by bit, we're going to take control of more areas in the world and hopefully get at least a tiny but respectable colonial empire. And there you go, the Congo is now under us. I will improve our relations, of course. Long term we want to annex them. Long term we want to settle in the Congo itself, such an important area. But for the moment this is already good. They have plenty of things to add into our market. Look at this, all this fruit, all this dye, all this sugar. Very, very nice. Can we supply them? No, I need to build more convoys. Fair enough. Steam trawlers, looking good, okay. And how are we doing here? Ironclads. This would further give us more declared interests, which would just be excellent. And I think we might be able to sustain this. We need more ammunition, but I think we can produce more. Yep, it will kick that up. I think, wow, and all of a sudden, our convoy need is actually looking really good. Cool. Alright, now we have one additional declared interest. And we're almost there, actually, to get another one. I think I just need to build up more naval bases. Where would we declare this? Is there another area where Romania really cares for it? Obviously, this would actually not... Oh, wait a minute. What is happening here? Germany is going in against France. This is about... Oh, wow. They are actually just going in to return Alsace-Lorraine. And down here in Italy, it looks like... Return Lucca, return Sicily, return Campania. If they win this, then Sardinia-Piedmont would be pretty close to just forming Italy. But that is, yeah, if they were to win this. Right now it looks fairly equal, right? They're looking at 96, 144. It really is a war of attrition, I guess. Interesting, man. There's a lot of hotspots here in Europe, I gotta tell you this, which is why I would like to expand elsewhere if possible. Yeah, so we can't do anything about slavery, whether it is legacy slavery or slavery banned, until the rule folk drop their slaver leader. That is something that is just there to stay for the time being. You know what I would like to see? As the last step, or maybe even just the latest step of liberalization, I would like to see some sort of voting right here, right? Something that is going on with voting. Now, landed voting, I'm not a big fan. Wealth voting could be quite interesting. We have a whole bunch of fairly rich, and let me actually just double check this, right? We do surely still have subsistence farmers somewhere. Nope, they're all unemployed. Alright, no subsistence farmers, folks. I think wealth voting then will largely strengthen the liberals. And in general, I think that is not a terrible idea. The Orthodox Church would be radicalized, the trade unions would be radicalized. Man, the Orthodox Church used to be our friend, you know that? I think I want to try it. I think I would like it if we had some wealth voting here, just because this should long-term support our potential to actually liberalize. The trade unions want to enact slavery ban. You know, we can do that as soon as the rural folk are free of their slaver. Romania is now a world power, or at least we can look like it, right? We can look like one. Alright, listen, where else do we need an interest? I think an interest would be quite interesting in Indochina. Can we maintain anything in Indochina? A colony or just a subject? Honestly, oh my god, I didn't even spy this. Who built this? The British built the Suez Canal. Maybe we can actually maintain it. Maybe we can even maintain something down here in the Horn of Africa. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna declare an interest right here. Let's see whether we can't get ISEC under our control. Isn't that actually hilarious, by the way? We're going around Africa to supply our Congo, you know, friend, well, ally, whatever you want to call it. Oh man, I would also love to take over Zanzibar, but that is something for the future. Right now, I think getting a naval base right here that then allows us to actually move over here, we don't need it just logistically speaking as per the game, but historically speaking, we would like a tiny base right here if possible, so that we have a base here and a base in the west, and then we can move towards Indochina. You know what? I think we're just gonna go for ISEC again. I like ISEC. I'm gonna go and make them a dominion and hope that nobody jumps in. Because if we succeed here, man, the Romanian Empire really is starting to take shape. Can I also take a treaty port, by the way? This would just make everything thereafter quite a bit more simple, I think. On top of that, of course, giving us another port is just really useful. Oh, and wealth voting actually passed. Now let's hope that the landowners get completely destroyed in the coming elections. 11%! Oh my god, the National Liberal Party is dominating. And Jesus Christ, what a landslide. We also do have a revolution, or at least it looks like one, for slavery banned. Let me just see this. If I do this, the landowners would get radicalized. Here, both the landowners and the rural folk would get radicalized. I think we're going to ignore the issue for the moment. I'm going to just be entirely honest with you. What I would like to see... I really need to see this. This is incredibly, incredibly important to my interests. But for that, we actually do need to make the landowners still a bit weaker. I would also like to switch maybe to migration controls here, so that at least Romanians can migrate between our provinces if they so please. You know what? I think we're going to do this. I think I will take in the industrialists into our government. They are both, of course, the National Liberal Party, so they do belong together. And now let's take a look at this. We could go for some colonization, but honestly, let's not worry about it right now. We don't need to actually colonize anything. No social security, that's actually completely fine by me, if you ask me. You know what? Let's switch around the closed borders to migration control. Yeah, sure. We're still incredibly restrictive, but long term, we want people to migrate into the colonies and so on, and this is a good first step, I think. And there you go, Isaac is now under our control. This whole Horn area is something that I definitely want to take if possible. I do now need to, however, also actually take a look at anybody maybe becoming my long-term friend so that I'm not just easy pickings. Then again, having this defensive pact with Russia is massive. Our colonial situation right now, we cannot defend it, it's impossible. The Congo is completely indefensible because there's no navy nearby. Here in Berbera, we have no population. We could theoretically attempt to build up a naval base, but it's unlikely. This port is the single most important building, I think, in this region. As it stands, we have expanded massively. We are much, much better off than before. We actually have a port. We've taken this location. I am looking forward to continuing this save game, trying to get the rest of Romania back. Yeah, I would like to build up a colonial empire on that front. The landowners have been significantly weakened. We will now be looking towards actually empowering the rural folk if we can, even further than they already have been empowered. But yeah, the wealth voting alone has given the intelligentsia a huge edge, and now it's on us to actually use this. For the moment, though, I bid you farewell. Let me take a look at the United States. They banned slavery. I don't think they had a civil war for it, but they did ban it, and they're doing really well on GDP. France doing quite okay as well, similar to Germany. Germany lost this war, yeah, I can see it right here. The GDP of Great Britain obviously is insane. Austria is lagging behind, which is, well, you know, they have had a whole bunch of civil wars, but cultural exclusion now makes it so that they should be fairly stable. Russia actually keeping up, quite proud of them. China not doing much, which is working as designed. We're looking towards a pretty decent future for Romania, I think. For the moment, I will see you later, alligator.